thing we're going to do, multiply both sides by 9. What's going to happen to the 9s on the left? They're going to cancel out. It's going to leave me a negative 5 plus x equals negative 1 times 9 is a negative 9. I'm trying to get x by itself. How do I get rid of the negative 5? I add a positive 5 to both sides. Negative 9 and a positive 5. Which one's larger since they have different signs? The 9 is the larger number, so my answer is going to be negative. And instead of adding them, I subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. It is a negative 4. What could I do if I want to make sure my number is correct? I could replace x with a negative 4. I'd have negative 5 plus a negative 4 divided by 9 equals a negative 1. This is how I would check to see if I'm right. What is a negative 5 plus a negative 4? Negative 9 divided by a positive 9 does equal a negative 1, so I can see that my answer checks. You don't have to check all of your answers, but to get credit, you do have to show your work to get to the answer. I don't want to just see negative 4. I want to see the steps it took to get to a negative 4. However, before you bring a question up to me and ask me, is this right? What should you do first? You should check it to see if it's right. You can substitute it back in to see if you're getting the right answer. Questions about this first example? Can I go to the next page, or are we still copying? Good? No good? Next problem that I'm going to do is number 3. Today I'm going to show you 2 methods to do this. We could distribute first. If I distribute this, I'd have to take the negative 7 through the parentheses, which means I'm going to take a negative 7 times 7, negative 49, and a negative 7 times a positive b, which would be a negative 7b. Everybody okay with what I did for the distributive property? I'm trying to get b by itself, so I'm going to get rid of this negative 49. I'm going to add 49 to both sides. Be careful not to drop the negative that's attached to your 7b. 49 and 56 is 105. In front of the b, there is a negative 7. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 7. Is my answer going to be positive or negative? A positive divided by a negative will be negative. 7 goes into 10 once, and there'd be 3 left over, and 7 goes into 35 5 times. Negative 15. So you could distribute it first. You could also do this first. What's happening with this negative 7 that's out in front of the parentheses? It's being multiplied. So to get rid of multiplication, I could what? Divide. And if I divide both sides by a negative 7, what would happen with these negative 7s? They'd cancel out and just leave me 7 plus b. And 56 divided by a negative 7 would be a negative 8. If I'm trying to get b by itself, how do I get rid of the positive 7? I subtract it. If I'm adding and subtracting, they both have the same sign. I keep their sign, and I add the numbers together. And notice what happened. No matter which way I did it, I ended up with what? Negative 15 is my answer. Either method is okay. Use whichever one you're more comfortable with. Is everybody okay with question 3? No good? I do not. Can I go on? Now we're going to skip to 6. What's happening to my variable again? It's being divided by 18. How do I get rid of division? What's going to happen to my 18s? It's going to leave me a plus 6. Negative 1 times 18 is a negative 18. How do I get rid of addition? If they both have the same sign, what am I going to do? Keep the sign and add them together. Negative 24. Everybody okay with number 6? And now we're going to skip to 12. What's the first thing I'm going to do here? It's being divided, so instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply. The 7s are going to cancel out. Careful not to lose this sign. And 3 times 7 is 21. How do I get rid of this negative 1? and x is going to be 22. Questions? Your assignment is to finish the worksheet. Okay. By the way, you should find that your answers would all be less than either a negative 24 or positive 22. I worked out the ones with the two biggest numbers, both the negative side and the positive side. So your number should be between a negative 24 and a positive 22. None of them will have a decimal in it. If you ended up with a decimal, you did what? Something wrong. Okay?